Alright, I've just been up all night looking at the Bilderberg 2016 list, and it really is very interesting in terms of where the economy is going, what's going to happen to populations in the future, and how is government going to manage so much debt, so many people without jobs, the heavy toll that automation are going to place on an economy, along with all the regular Bilderberg attendees, is a lot of new technology people and a lot of very important economic figures. And it looks like this year Bilderberg is looking in particular at the dangerous situation that is happening with regard to people no longer having dependable employment, destroying jobs. They're about to have driverless cars. There's going to be millions and millions of people out of work and being replaced basically by nothing more than iPads and tablets to place orders, carry out logistics, and get the job done without humans. So what's going to happen to people? Bilderberg brought on a special author about the precariat class, the future of uncertain jobs, uncertain labor, and basically a general idleness and aimlessness of people who could become revolutionary, who could be subjected to civil unrest, who will probably be on social welfare and benefits for the rest of their lives and have nothing else to look forward to. That's the direction that the people in this country are actually headed towards. They are destroying the middle class. Bilderberg are the people who popped the housing bubble in 2006, who ushered in the economic collapse through the bankers, and now they're managing the destruction of society. And specifically on bilderbergmeetings.org, they've got the key topics for this year. In addition to general stuff, current events, China, they're dealing with Brexit, all the pressure around migration, and this big vote that could take Britain out of the very EU that Bilderberg built. You got Middle East, Russia, and continued war, but a lot of emphasis around the U.S. political landscape with respect to the economy and the enormous levels of debt. What happens if these big debt bubbles pop? Also, what's going to happen as a result of energy prices, particularly oil, and all the geopolitics that's happening with Venezuela, with Russia, with Saudi Arabia, and basically the end of the dollar, the end of the petrodollar, could be a very, very big change for the United States, and it could amplify the growing problems with employment. Now this topic is a little bit coded: the precariat and middle class, and also technological innovation. What the hell is that? Well, they've brought on a participant this year who's never been there before from the University of London, Professor Guy Standing, and he's involved in basically pushing for an international minimum income.
We will need to reconceptualize work. We need to legitimize and reward and dignify all forms of work equally.
Precariat, the new dangerous class, which is a whole terminology based around people who are shiftless, who don't have secure work futures, who don't have benefits and pensions to look forward to, who are underemployed, easily exploited, people who have graduate degrees and other advanced degrees. What's going to happen? Well, it's either going to be the rise of a very socialistic global world government, or it's going to be chaos, or more likely probably rounds of both. Now, another very notable member who is attending Bilderberg seemingly for the first time here in 2016 is David M. Coate, who's notable for being the chairman and the CEO of Honeywell, who are of course major defense contractors. But he's also quite notable because he's been on the board of JP Morgan Chase, and he's been on the board of the New York Federal Reserve. He's very involved with the banking and monetary policy of this country. The New York branch of the Federal Reserve, the most powerful private pseudo-government organization, well, in the whole country. And until very recently, this was clearly the most powerful branch. Its own board of directors were made up of the mega banks. He was named in 2010 by Obama to an important board Specifically, that's the National Committee on Fiscal Responsibility and Reform, where he talked about, quote, reining in federal entitlement programs as part of an overall effort to curb budget deficits.
And the reason for that is that my generation, the baby boomers, are retiring. And we've committed more in Medicare, Medicaid commitments than we can actually afford, given the number of people that are actually working.
And it's a huge debt bubble. There is a debt crisis, it's looming, it's coming.
The recession created a huge issue for us, and it's taken us to 73% in this year.
Now there's all these millions of people who need to retire, and also millions more behind them who are seeing good jobs evaporate. What are they going to do when the trucking jobs are done, the waitressing jobs, even the white collar that used to have secure benefits, a definite future, a definite retirement? That stuff is all crumbling fast, and it's a musical chairs game to see who's going to even end up with the money they were promised.
The very people who created the 2008 financial crisis were given unlimited liquidity, QE3, and now even the Federal Reserve's members admit that's completely ineffective. It's just ruined everything, and it's slowing everything to a halt. Investment rates at zero mean that people cannot save. They can't invest in pensions. They can't invest in insurance without it all being a crumbling scam.
He's also being brought in as the savior and the person with the solution for the debt problem, with what to do with all these social obligations. And he's best known as the guy from JP Morgan Chase Risk Committee who allowed the loss of $2 billion in derivatives, contributing to the banking crisis. This guy right here brought in special this year for Bilderberg.
Here's what $1 trillion would be.
The largest beneficiaries of government contracts. Your company has to pay a 2% tax rate. And yet you left. There's 1.7 trillion held overseas.
Peter Thiel's been on the Bilderberg list for a while. He's been on inside the inner circle, the steering committee. He's been inviting all these important entrepreneurs and Facebook executives and Silicon money people. He's known for being the PayPal mafia don. But now it's in a whole new light when he's at Bilderberg again, and he's just been publicly exposed for being a dangerous and creepy and vindictive billionaire who's willing to secretly spend millions of dollars just to get retribution and revenge against press organizations he doesn't like. Really creepy stuff. Here he is yet again at Bilderberg. He's tied into all kinds of political agendas. He's actually a Trump delegate, by the way. This year, his tech compatriots include Eric Schmidt, now part of Alphabet, the mothership of Google. That stuff is moving along really creepy. Craig J. Mundi is there. He used to be from Microsoft. Now he has his own firm. Alex Karp of Palantir, who continues to work with the NSA on spying technologies using particularly big data. You've got the co-founder and CEO of DeepMind back again at Bilderberg for more. Reid Hoffman leaked in. You've got new firms like a seed money for tech companies investment firm, Y Combinator. You've got MIT's Sensible City Lab, which is basically dealing with how people interact with digital devices in the modern age as they're trying to urban plan us around literal smart cities where you'll be ruled by your data. And you've got the guy who created Coursera, free online courses, free university courses, and other sort of shaking up revolutionary firms. How will it shape the future? I don't know, but these are the guys meeting in secret, basically being led by Peter Thiel. Bilderberg 2016 is definitely forecasting a revolutionary future with a middle class that is pushed to its limits, with a working class that is struggling more and more, and with an economy that is just in shambles and has a tendency for civil unrest, becoming just really overwhelming. It's going to be a whole new era. A head-on confrontation with the fact that they don't need us. They don't need our human labor. They're going to be laying off huge numbers of people, and they're now completely ready to deal with the question But what to do about people who are becoming indigent, who have nothing to do, and thinking in revolutionary terms. Are we going to see riots breaking out? Are we going to see the middle class being trampled on? How are they going to be dealt with by society?